All right, we are recording yet again, as always. This is, I think we're on episode 4, but I can't math, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong and I'll correct it. But anyway, um, this is obviously I'm back again with Bryce, but we're not going to be interviewing him. I'm going to just be yapping because that's what I do. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Go find another podcast to watch. But anyway, um, I have been dealing with some pretty interesting people that I go to school with. I'm not going to be name dropping because I don't do that, but I'm just going to rant and we'll see where it goes. But um, obviously, with the state of the world right now, for those in the US at least, there's been some pretty recent developments with student loans and funding for people's education, and even trying to get rid of the Department of Education as a whole. And I'm really starting to see it with some of these people that I go to school with who can't critically think and make people research things for them. As an example, there's been a lot of times people ask, um, or there's been a lot of financial questions, I guess, lately with everything going on. And in one group, it's very clearly in the rules that you can't ask financial questions. And I commented saying, like, hey, this is probably going to get taken down because it's in violation of the rules. And then, like, 5 people laugh reacted my comment, and I was just like, is there a joke that I'm not getting? Like, okay, anyway. So people were laugh reacting my comment, and little did I know, or as I expected, the post got taken down. So karma, I guess. But there's other people that will ask questions that are, and they'll post pictures of something like in their rubric that says like this is what you're supposed to do for this assignment, and they're like, but what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, it literally tells you, and they're like, no, I know, but it's not clear. And I'm like, okay, then ask your professor. And they're like, okay, but they whatever, like come up with a bunch of excuses. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not gonna hold your hand for you. Like, figure it out. Google's free. Anyway, but so that's just been interesting to deal with. And so now with the Department of Education being under fire, I'm like, wow, we're really gonna be having stupider populations going to school now, or not going at all because they can't afford it, which yeah, but that's that rant. Basically, there's just no critical thinking skills with some of these people that I go to school with, and it's really sad because the school that I attend, I'm not going to name it, but if you know, you know, um, they tailor to professionals and like specifically working professionals and non-traditional students. So I understand, these people might not have been in school for years, but I'm the type of person, if I don't know the answer to something, I'm gonna use my resources. I'm not gonna just post in a Facebook group and expect people to tell me the answer and then complain when I'm being told to go find the answer myself. Like, that's just counterproductive in my opinion, at least. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm owning that opinion. But, um, yeah, so it's interesting. And then I got an email to invite me to a honor society because of my GPA, which I'm proud of because high school me, community college, and even when I was in my bachelor's program, I never got above a 3.0. So me getting a 4.0 a 4.0 in my first term of grad school and now a 3.9, I'm like, okay, let's like I can do this. Like I've had a lot of self-doubt lately, so having those GPAs has shown me that I can do this. And so I got the invitation to this honor society, and people were stating their opinions. And there was this whole Reddit post that someone made that they got in, but you have to pay all this money to like be part of it, and then you have to pay more money to like get this certificate or whatever. And they're basically saying that it's a scam. And I'm in a student Discord server, and people in there were saying, "Oh, it's not really worth the money." And then so I went into the venting channel. I did go to one of the mods. I was like, "Hey, can I run this message by you so I don't come off like a total asshole?" And she was like, "Yeah, but you know someone's gonna be offended anyway." And I was like, "True, but like I'm still gonna send it." Um, so I sent it to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I see no problems with that. Go ahead, send it." So I put it in the venting channel, basically calling people out respectfully, but being like, "Can we not like try to rain on people's parades? You know, just because you've had a bad experience with something doesn't mean that that's going to be for everybody. Some people, you know, struggle academically, so getting even nominated for something like this is already a big enough accomplishment for them." Um, and like five people did like the 100 reaction, like saying that they were in agreement. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm not a total asshole, but it's just it's just interesting, like how people project and like give their opinions when, like, yes, they may have asked for your opinion, but like if you're just gonna be negative, I don't know. I was taught if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say it. But clearly, other people were not taught that, or they just don't care, even though they were taught that. But yeah, um, that's what I've been dealing with lately.
I too also watched Bambi, and you know, they'll say, um, let's see. Oh, the screen refreshed. So, um, you know, I think there is such thing as constructive criticism, and there's a nice way to go about doing that. But yeah, if they're just being dicks, then don't be a dick.
Yeah. As a not as a child, but like when I worked at a Girl Scout camp as a camp counselor, I learned this saying that like now I say it all the time, and it's "Don't yuck my yum," which is basically like if I like something and you don't like it, that's fine, but like don't say that like I'm like okay, I'll give an example because this is the example that I use. But like if I put ketchup on my mac and cheese, like I'm gonna own that, you know? And like you don't have to agree with that, but to be like, "Oh, that's so gross, like you're so weird," like whatever, like that's we're not gonna do that, you know?
So wait, you actually do put ketchup on your mac and cheese?
I actually do.
Have
That's
you
what
have you
haunts
tried
me.
that at an Italian restaurant?
No, I probably would get kicked out if I did that. But no, that's actually a legit thing that I do. Oh, you muted yourself.
I said, uh, yeah, maybe you would get kicked out.
That's a joke for those that aren't in on it. Bryce sent me like a video compilation of like this guy that like goes to Italian restaurants and like puts ketchup on like on like pizza and stuff, and it was weird. But yeah, so that's what that uh comment came from.
I was trying to find where it is so we could shout him out. Was it on Messenger?
Yeah, it's on Messenger.
Oh my gosh, our messages are so disgusting. It's just like love bombing back and forth.
I mean, I
Oh,
don't think
okay, I
there's
found it.
anything wrong with.
It's it's Ben. Yes, I agree. I agree. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I found it. It's Ben Raid. So BEN and then underscore REID underscore, and that's the guy
Okay.
that disgraces the Italians by putting ketchup on his pasta.
Yep. And he did like a whole, like, the point of it is like to see their reactions, and there was one guy that actually kicked him out of the restaurant because of it, which was that was funny to see, and like you could tell that he's actually like genuinely upset, but like on these other videos, he's just like the chefs or like the employees were kind of just looking at him like, what are you doing? But like to actually get kicked out over it, that was that was funny.
What is on your mind with the um, Medicaid thing? Because I just got a tweet from AOC saying Trump shut off Medicaid.
Yes, he did. um I was actually just talking with my therapist about it like 2 hours ago at this point. um I do have a backup plan. My parents are not gonna let me go without insurance, I know that much. Um, so worst case, I just have to buy a plan, basically, like, out of pocket. I don't wanna have to do that, but if that's what I have to do, then so be it. Otherwise, I literally would not be able to afford even being able to continue to see my therapist or my medications and stuff. We actually just watched a video before we got on here, where a lady in Florida was like, "Do I need to increase my antidepressants?" And that's literally how I'm feeling right now. Is that like I need to up my dosage because it's rough out here. But yeah, that's my take.
What are your thoughts on how Trump is doing in office so far and his apparent uh, adoption of Elon Musk and apparently him deciding to sig Heil?
Ooh, all right. That's a deep question, but um, I I just can't believe like what's happening is already happening like that quickly because I really thought it wasn't gonna like I thought we had at least a year for all of this, and then for it to like it literally was a week as of yesterday. Like it's just it's wild that this is already happening in not even it hasn't even been a month and he's already doing this. And then Elon, like I have no words for what he did. I got into it with someone um who I used to consider a friend, and clearly that was a mistake on my end, but I don't care if she's watching this. I'm gonna be petty. It's my podcast, whatever. But I got into it with her, and basically she was not. defending him, but, like, also defending him at the same time. Um, and she ended up unfriending me and also kicking me out of her business group. So then I went to another friend and I was like, yeah, you're gonna be my shirt dealer." And she was like, "I got you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Um, I and then I had someone else tell me that that wasn't what he did because it was like she looked at a picture of the salute and then looked at what he did and was like, "No, he did it lower." And I was like, no, look again." Um, so it's just wild that people are, like, excusing it, and I did share a meme the other day about, oh, yeah, about autism not including whatever the hell he did, because I agree with that, like, I mean, we're both autistic. I've never had an urge to do that. I can't speak for Bryce, but I'm assuming that's the same, you know? So,
I mean, I'll do all the crazy shit in private, but like it matters when you do that in public.
true, true. But yeah, people are just crazy. I I literally have no words, but yeah.
That reminded me of a quote from Jack and Daxter in Jack 3 at the very beginning. Pecker's outraged that like Jack is getting thrown out, and he's like, "I'm outraged beyond words, although I do have something to say." And that's that's what you did, and I think it's funny.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of, uh, Jack and Daxter, I told my friends yesterday about my, like, desperate desire to want a Daxter plushie, and my friend started Googling it and being like, "Okay, I can see that. I vouch for that." And I was like, "Cool." Yeah, so I might be buying myself a, Daxter plushie in the next, few days, so yeah.
Yeah, a Daxter plushie would be great. And Sarah and I, mostly Sarah, watching a display of every Naughty Dog game in chronological order. So we've been watching all of those, and we just got to Uncharted. I know this is a completely different subject, but screw it. It's the internet. We can do whatever we want, right? Um,
Right.
yeah. What are your thoughts uh, on that? Unless you don't want to talk about that, but
No, I
I'm
can, it's
curious.
fine.
I mean, hey, go talk about whatever you want. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. What are your thoughts from so far from watching uh, all of Crash Bandicoot, at least the first four games, and then Jack and Daxter, and now we are on Uncharted Drake's Fortune.
I still feel like Crash was my favorite so far. Um, um, because Jack and Daxter, I, like, literally had no idea what was going on. Like, I tried to, like, follow the story, but then, like, some of the missions, it's like, how? Like, how does this relate to the story? And then Jack X was, like, a totally different level. I'm like, "What? Like, what is happening?" Um, Daxter's cute, though. Like, yeah. I he's funny. I like him. But, yeah, I would say definitely so far, like, from just watching it, like, I do think I like Crash the most, but the story in Uncharted is definitely a lot easier to follow. But the level that you're playing it on the crushing level, it's like I can see the raging happening, you know?
Yeah, in my Let's Plays of Uncharted and The Last of Us, I play on its hardest difficulty available. And so it's hard to follow a lot of the story on Uncharted because it's just a lot of the game is just like a snail's pace getting through it. Um, but I will say the story in the first Uncharted is like mid. It isn't until the second, well, especially the second and the third game, to where it gets like, oh wow, this is a really good story, and we're excited for that. So um, I think it's important to wrap it all around here to not drown yourself with all the horrible shit that's going on. I understand that that is a position of privilege, but just like you gotta like fight the fight, but also like don't go insane while fighting the fight. Um, work on things that make you happy in the meantime. It's going to be a rough 4 years, so you gotta do the best you can.
Yep, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Um, I don't really have anything else that I wanted to talk about, so I guess we can leave it off at that. Kind of talked about a lot of different things, and it ended on a semi decent note, so that's fine. But the next episode that I will be having or making words if I can English, but the next episode will be me talking about my very interesting music taste with my fellow music lover friend. So stay tuned for that one. We will be recording that one on Friday for the next um the next week. So yeah, I hope to see you all in that next one. Um and yeah.